It's Sunday, and you know what that means. It is time for our next episode in our series for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2's Yay or Nay series. So we got ourselves a look at a third-party character today, somebody that has a lot of good ties to Nickelodeon, and that would be Doug Funnie. So let's see how this one plays out, and of course stick around to the end because we will have the updated Yay or Nay stats. But before that, we got to jump into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Move number 1, we're calling this the Super Pretendo Launcher. So how does this move work? What is it? Well, for one of Doug's moves, maybe it could slot in as a neutral special, maybe like a side special type of deal. Doug himself would actually be able to fire out 2 missiles while he's holding a Super Pretendo controller. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. There is an episode where Doug kind of gets hooked on video games a little bit, and he kind of ends up staying awake a little too long and kind of gets really tired, and he kind of starts imagining the real world in video games, and he kind of imagines himself, you know, taking out Roger here. So I thought this would be a really cool reference to that episode. He's got a projectile to play with. He kind of fires out some like I said, missiles from that episode, so it would be kind of a cool thing. You know, nobody's gonna turn like pixelated unless we turn this into like his super or his final smash attack, then that'd be kind of funny. But either way, you know, Super Pretendo Launcher just fires out a couple missiles, neutral special, side special, whatever it might be. Think it works pretty well. Move number 2, this one's gonna be a little bit weird. I kind of debated on if I was gonna actually add this or not. Well, I guess I did, so here we go. Move 2, we're calling the Cannonball. It's going to be weird, probably wouldn't happen, but it's an idea nonetheless. So the Cannonball, for Doug's up special or his recovery move, I imagine him jumping off of a diving board. You know, so he starts by jumping upwards, jumping off the diving board, he goes upwards, and then of course he will come falling straight downwards with a fast, sudden impact. You know, like you're doing a cannonball off of a diving board into the pool. So like that episode, I think this would, it makes sense. I don't know how well it would be used in terms of moves, but you know, it's what I came up with. So there you go. It's kind of the same thing, like if you want to compare it to King DDD with his up special, where he jumps super high and then he kind of comes straight down. You don't have a whole lot of control for DDDs, so up special when he comes crashing down. So it's kind of the same thing. Doug jumps straight up, and you can control it a tiny bit, but he's going to come straight down very fast, very hard, sudden impact, cause a lot of damage. So there you go. Cannonball. What do you think? Move number 3. This one's titled the Funnie Fastball. Now, a useful trick that Doug learned from his father as well, the Funnie Fastball. And what is it? Well, pretty self-explanatory. The move itself, Doug just hurls a baseball. It's father and son in the backyard. The father's trying to pass along the knowledge of throwing and playing catch with his son. So why not get this involved in the moveset somewhere? This could work out pretty well for a neutral special. Doug winds up, throws a baseball. It's a little projectile, so there you go. You can kind of charge it up, hold it the longer you charge it and hold it, obviously, the faster and farther it's going to go and more damage. You know, in baseball, you got your fastballs, you got your flamethrowers out there, and people that can throw 105 miles an hour. Or you could throw a little bit of a change-up with the, you know, just by pressing the attack. So it's not going to be quite as fast, but it'll still kind of get the job done, depending on how you want to utilize it on stage, or you want to try to hit your opponent off stage. Just kind of lob a little baseball towards him. Might hit him, maybe doesn't, but either way, another idea for an attack. Move number 4, we're calling this one Pumping Iron. So there's an episode where Doug has only 24 hours left to kind of get into tip-top shape. And, you know, what better way to do that than to start lifting some weights? So I took that inspiration and turned it into an attack. So the attack, I imagine, would be him lifting some heavier weights, if you will. So the attack itself is Doug lifting the bar with the weights on it, maybe struggling at first, so a little bit of startup lag to the attack, but then he lifts it above his head in like a kind of a fast thrusting sort of motion, if you will. So the attack itself is the damaging part, is when he lifts the weights above his head and kind of like smacks or smashes into whatever might be above him. So that's the damaging part. So I thought this would be pretty fitting for an attack. I thought this Like if we wanted to slot it in for it, like a specific attack, I'd go with like a grounded up strong. I think that works perfectly. Definitely a more damaging attack, probably something you would rely on to get some KOs, so I thought it worked out pretty well. So there you go, there's some ideas for Doug Funnie's moveset. But that's not all, because we're about to go over some ideas for some alternate costumes for Doug. So up first, I think the most obvious one, Quail Man. Is there anything else to say about that? I don't think so. Like it's if you think alternate costumes and you're talking about Doug, Quail Man's gonna most likely be the first thing that comes to mind. So there you go. I had to at least include it because, well, duh. But alternate costume idea number 2. This one I thought would be a little bit more funny. So again, a reference to the video game episode where Doug gets hooked on video games. There's a little funny scene in there where it looks like he's down on his luck, so that's what I called this one, the down on his luck Doug skin. He's got like the coat on, he's got the beard. He's just, you got to feel bad for the dude. He just wants to play one more game. Just let him have one more turn, you know. So I thought this would be a fun idea for an alternate costume. But then we also have this one as well. I believe the name that he shouts out is Ronald Weisenheimer, so that's what I called this alternate costume, although it's just Doug in his swimsuit, so I guess that kind of works too. But yeah, there you go. It's the same thing that I took from the Cannonball move, you know, where it's jumping off the high dive. It's just Doug in his swimsuit. Nah, nothing crazy. It's an idea. I don't know why he shouted Ronald Weisenheimer, but I guess he's trying to be funny, hence the last name. I don't get it. Wasn't funny to me, but there you go. Either way, that's some ideas for some alternate costumes. And I guess I'm going to say I'd give this character, myself personally, for the series, I'll give him a yay. I think it'd be really cool, really awesome to see Doug as a part of the Nickelodeon family once again. Put him in the roster of other iconic Nickelodeon characters with SpongeBob and Aang, Ren and Stimpy. You can include Garfield now, I suppose, amongst many others, Ninja Turtles, blah, blah, blah. Keep going on and on, right? But for me, I'm going to give him a yay. But the video is not over yet, because now we have the updated yay or nay stats. And as you can see, we now have 6 full characters. So 1 through 6, we got them ranked in order based on percentage points. Here they are. Number 1, Queen Vexus. Number 2, Odie. Number 3, Arnold, who moved up this week in terms of placements. Casey Jones is in 4th, who dropped 1 place. Him and Arnold swapped places this week. Lenny Loud is in 5th place. And the newest addition to the Yay or Nay roster, or series, I should say, Dinkelberg. So here's his stats for after 1 week of voting from you guys. 67 total votes, 41 yays, 26 nays, which gives him a 61.19 percentage of a yes to no ratio. Now, I found it quite, a lot of people had the same sort of, when they said no, there's a lot of people that kind of felt the same way, that no more wacky, no more WTF characters. There's quite a bit of people that felt that way, which I can understand, because in that same sort of sentiment, it was like, hey, we're still missing so many other iconic characters. You know, we just had 11 characters get cut from the roster, so they should probably come back first. Or you're still missing your obvious ones, like a Timmy Turner, for example. So there's other characters that I think a lot of people felt would be more worthy of getting a spot on the roster before Dinkelberg, but he still had his fans, so as you can see, 61.19%. But overall, there's your top 6. We'll probably be back next week, I think, as long as people still like the series. I think interest is starting to dwindle already, because we'll talk about that at a different time. But either way, that is going to be it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you later. Bye.